So I was recommended him by it was my sister-in-law's sister had this procedure back in January. So she recommended him because he was local to where she lived, and it's quite local for me as well. Well, it's about an hour away, but she spoke so highly of him, and the results were incredible from such a short amount of time. And yeah, I was just like, I was sold, really. So yeah, I booked a consultation, and then went from there, really. I had the sleeve gastrectomy. I think also known as a gastric sleeve. The first initial consultation, I was pre-warned from my friend that had it. He is a very thorough and particular doctor. So he doesn't just sell you, that it's all going to be fine, it's all going to go smoothly. He really goes in depth about the complications that you may occur. And he also talks you through and finds out what's the best surgery for you as well. So he's not, I mean, I have had other surgeries in the past where I wouldn't say that I was talked out of them before. So I found for me, this was actually a very good sign that I was going to somebody that knew their stuff and had done their research. So he was really, really genuine. And like I said, the main thing is he tells you the downsides and not just, the pluses, if that makes sense. So I went for that, and then so I had my first initial consultation, and then I went to sign the documents, both of which you have your BMI, so your height and your weight done both procedure. The consultation and the signing of the documentation. And then he talked I went to Rivers Hospital at Sawbridgeworth for my surgery, but obviously he does give you other options. I don't believe that's the only one that he works from. And it works better. I mean, so for instance, I couldn't do surgery straight away because I had other commitments, such as I was bridesmaid for my parents' wedding. So before the surgery, you have to go on a pre-op diet. And to be honest, that was probably one of the hardest things for me. However, I had a lot of support from Elizabeth, who is the main dietitian that Mr. Agwell uses. And she was on hand whenever I needed her. I think day two of the pre-op diet, I got to the point where I didn't actually think I'd be able to go ahead with the surgery because I was struggling so much. And just that little bit of reassurance from Elizabeth really, really helped. And she was just like really, really reassuring and telling me that it does get easier. It's just your body having a bit of a shock. So for instance, the pre-op diet for me, I only had to do 10 days because my BMI was 39 at the time. I think if it's any higher, you may have to do about 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks on the pre-op diet. I chose the Slim Fast diet. So that's 4 Slim Fast a day for 10 days, and that is to shrink the liver. So it's easier to do the surgery because the surgery is actually done keyhole, which is fantastic because it's a lot quicker recovery process. I was absolutely shocked that it could be done keyhole. And I don't think a lot of people are aware that this surgery is done keyhole surgery. Obviously, the risks are if you don't shrink that liver enough, they may have to open you up, and obviously then the recovery time, and then it gets a little bit more complicated and complex. But Mr. Agwell is very hot on making sure you stick to that pre-op diet because it really, really is key to getting the surgery to be successful. So I went into Rivers Hospital for my procedure. I was second to go down. He normally only does 2 patients a day. So obviously he's not tired, and if there's complications, he's got that time during the day to rectify it. So I went down second. It was about 10:30 in the morning. I was really confident, and I wasn't nervous. I think it's because I just wanted it so much. I was actually excited, and the nurses in the hospital are so lovely, and they're really, really good. So you have my biggest it sounds really silly. My biggest concern was having the cannula put in because I have really bad veins. But they were brilliant. They were just really calm, and they actually put the cannula in before I even went down to theatre because I was so anxious about the cannula. And that got done. So I went down to theatre. I think I was out for about 2.5 hours. and having the procedure. And then I come around, and unfortunately, I suffer really, really bad with sickness. I don't believe that it's a common thing, but I unfortunately, about 24 hours, I could not keep anything down after the surgery. So it wasn't an easy recovery, if I'm honest. But I don't, the other lady that had the surgery just before me, she was up walking around. She came into my room to see if I was okay. So it's not the same for everybody. It is completely different depending on, and I don't know why I reacted like that, but unfortunately I did. I have had anesthetics in the past, and sometimes I have, sometimes I haven't. So it's always good to make the anaesthetist aware at the time if you have suffered with sickness in the past, and they can give you more anti-sickness at the time. So when I come around, I was obviously a little bit sore, but I've just had major surgery on my stomach. But to be honest, I couldn't believe how well I felt the day after. And actually, the day I got out of hospital, I was home and I was cooking dinner. Obviously not for myself, because you are on that liquid only diet for 2 weeks, and then you go on to purees for 2 weeks, and then it's soft food for 2 weeks, and then eventually you start introducing the solid foods in. That there is so many pros to this surgery, like I cannot explain. I was on borderline with diabetes. My blood sugars have come right down since I've lost the weight. So obviously I was started off at 16 stone 1, and I had my surgery on the 21st of May this year. And today, which is obviously the 16th of September, I am just over 5 stone 1 lighter than what I was. I'm still not in a healthy BMI, but I am working towards it. It's not plain sailing, so you have to be prepared to change your lifestyle. I was one that I loved food. I still enjoy food, but I just eat tiny portions now. So instead of piling my plate with food, I could probably, a tea plate would be more than enough for me. I have the odd chocolate bar, but you just have to know when enough is enough. One thing that it can is fizzy drinks is a no-no. I haven't tried it yet, but I know some people can have it. It can be quite hard to digest foods, and I hate wasting food. So that is a hard one. So since having the surgery as well, I've had several follow-up appointments with Mr. Agrawal. He is extremely pleased with the way that, the progress that I've made. And it's just like my confidence is just so lovely that I can go, and instead of going to the back of a rail for a size 18, I can go to the front now for a 10 or a 12, and just my confidence has grown so much. I'm just really happy. If you are in doubt, I'm going to be honest, I didn't think about it. I just went straight in. But I've had a lot of people, I've been quite open and honest that I've had this surgery on social media. So I've had probably about 10, 11 people message me now asking, can you tell me what, like, why would you recommend it? And the reason is because I just feel like the lifestyle that I'm going to live, I feel like Mr. Agrawal has completely changed my life already. Like my children, I'm going to be healthy for them. I can run around, I can go to the theme park with them now, and I can go on a roller coaster. I can go, whereas in the past I was absolutely petrified because I was going to get turned away because of my weight. Mr. Agrawal has completely changed my life, and what I love about him is he's so thorough. I'm going to be honest, there was times in the hospital where I was being looked after. I thought, this is a little bit over the top, but I would much rather that than somebody that didn't care. So that's why I absolutely would recommend Mr. Agrawal to anybody.